Hey up, Rock God 2004 back with another video for you. I've been wanting to do this for quite some time now. This is apart from the one I've done for the anniversary edition of Number of the Beast, this is going to be my first Iron Maiden video. I did attempt to do this yesterday, ran out of memory on my phone, so I'm going to have to do it in bits. I mean, I got about halfway through and it was a long one anyway, so anyway, I think hopefully this first one I'm going to do in 5 parts. And I sat and thought, what do I do first? How am I going to start this? So anyway, what I've decided to do is I'm going to do all the original first pressings of the UK only releases. The only time I will show something that's not a first pressing is like if there is like an anniversary edition come out lately as well, so I'll show them both together as long as it's a UK one. So there's going to be no foreign pressings. I want to save them for other videos because I've got quite a few of them. So yeah, it's original UK first pressings only of the albums. I'm just doing the albums to begin with. Before I get started, I'd like to thank Trevor at Double Bill Movies for that fantastic Stranger in a Strange Land flag. Cheers, Trevor, you're a star. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. I want to leave a link for his channel below. He's a big Maiden fan, and also he is doing some videos on the Video Nasties as well, so you can have a look at them. So there's quite a bit to get through, so let's get cracking. The first one isn't a full Iron Maiden album. I thought I'd include it because this came out before their debut album, and it was a new wave of British heavy metal compilation, and it had 2 of their songs on, Sanctuary and Wrathchild, but it was before Clive Burr came in on drums, and I think it was before Dennis Stratton came in on guitar as well. So, to the best of my knowledge, this is actually the lineup that recorded their very first single that they self-released, the Soundhouse tapes. And the compilation album is called Metal for Mothers. I remember seeing this in Middlesbrough, and my nephew who was with me, who got me into all this type of stuff, used to say it was called Metal for Muthas, and I just went with it. And it was years later I found out it was Mothers. So yeah, it's also got bands like Sledgehammer on, which I don't even think about now. EF Band, Tour the Wet Sprocket, I've heard of them. Praying Mantis, I think they're still on the go. Samson are on with Bruce Dickinson on vocals, funnily enough, as well. So I don't know if you're going to pause it or not, but that's the track listing. So Maiden are the first one on side 1 with a totally different version of Sanctuary, and they are the 3rd track on side 2 with a totally different version of Wrathchild. After this, those 2 songs were completely unavailable until I think it was the Virus CD single that put them on as bonus tracks, and I think the reason for it was because their best of was just coming out. But you can see how old this is because it's on that lovely old brown and red EMI label. So retro. So that's the Metal for Mothers compilation, first thing that they recorded when EMI signed them. So not including Metal for Mothers, I counted up yesterday because I wasn't sure. When I said I'm going to show all the UK albums, I don't just mean the studio albums, that includes everything. So there's like compilations, best ofs, and all the live albums as well. Added all together, including the compilations, there is actually 31 Iron Maiden albums. 31. Wow. And some of them are double, some of them are triple. But yeah, 31 albums. They did do another compilation which wasn't released on vinyl, and it was when they brought out Computer Game, but I'll get to that later on. So the first album that they released was in 1980, and it was self-titled, just called Iron Maiden. There is still a lot of the older fans who actually think this is the best thing they ever did. I don't. However, I do think it is probably, if it's not one of the best, it is the best debut album done by anybody of all time. There's not a bad song on it. It is an absolutely fantastic album. This sounds to anything else that Maiden did. It sounds different to anything else that Maiden did after it, mainly because of the production. A lot of people say that it's got like sort of a punky edge to it, and I kind of do hear it. It's just a bit ironic because Steve Harris absolutely hates punk. But there you go. So that was the first time we ever got to see Eddie in all his full beautiful glory. So the track listing. 4 songs each side. Prowler, Rem Tomorrow, Running Free, Phantom of the Opera, Transylvania, Strange World, Charlotte the Harlot, and Iron Maiden. US and Canadian pressings, and I can't remember, possibly Japanese as well, also had Sanctuary on side 2. Sanctuary was the first record of theirs, 7-inch single, but it was the first Iron Maiden record I actually owned, and that was the song and the artwork to the single that actually got me into them. Why it's not on the UK album, I don't know, when it's on foreign pressings. And this has also still got the original lined black inner sleeve. It's poly-lined. With the original Eddie labels. A bit later on, this got sort of a, well, I'm saying it's a re-release, it was the same pressing, but it had a sticker on, complete with free poster, and you got a poster of that. I've never owned it. I've never seen one in the flesh. I've seen photos of one. I would absolutely love one, but they very rarely come up. I've never seen one. I do have 2 copies of this, both in amazing condition. The only difference is that one doesn't have the black inner sleeve, but everything else is identical. And then in 2020, they brought out a 40th anniversary picture disc. And the sticker there is just about identical to the record labels of the old ones, the old pressings. Back looks the same track listing. And it's listed as a crystal clear picture disc, which I'm assuming is because it's all clear vinyl around the edge. So don't really need to take it out, you can see it from there. This looks absolutely stunning. It sounds absolutely awful. It's really bad. As soon as like the stylus hits it, you hear the background noise. It's worse than any 80s picture disc I've heard. But there you go. I did also get 2 of these, and I've kept one sealed. I like the fact that when you take the picture disc out, you just get the blank cover, no Eddie. I thought that was a really good touch. So that's Maiden's debut album from 1980, Iron Maiden. A year later, 1981, the second Iron Maiden album came out. I got into them a month or 2 before this one got released. So I was going down to Middlesbrough looking for the album, the Iron Maiden album, and every time I went, it was sold out. because they were getting sort of well known already by then. And all the metalheads, because there was loads of them about in the early 80s, all the metalheads wanted this record. And in the end, I got sick of going looking for it. I ended up getting other stuff as well while I was waiting to get that, because I used to go get loads of records and stuff. And then I went into Boots, and I went downstairs, and I seen the Iron Maiden right. I went, way, ran over. I was like, that's not it. And I didn't know that their second album had come out, and this is what hit me in the face. This is Killers. Now, I remember seeing this for the first time. I seen the person sort of grabbing Eddie, and when I seen the blood on the axe, a little 10 to 13-year-old me, I felt sick. That's how soft I was. Still am. But yeah, that artwork, apart from once I got over my initial sickness, that artwork blew me away. And you can tell even the stage and everything, it's starting to look a lot more sort of professional than on the back of the original album. Dennis Stratton, who was on the first album, was gone. And this second album, Killers, is the first time we've got Adrian Smith. And then you've got Steve Harris, Paul Di'Anno, Dave Murray, and the amazing, late, great Clive Burr. Also, as with the first album, some foreign pressings like US, Canadian, and definitely Japanese. They had Twilight Zone on side 2, whereas we only got it on a single. This is still to this day one of, if not my all-time favourite Eddie. I absolutely love it. It just stuck with me. When I bought this album, because it was there, I got it. I got sick to death of waiting for the original, so I bought this. And when I got it home, wow, it absolutely blew me away. What a record this was. Still is. This is, all these years later, this is still in my top 3 of my sort of favourite Maiden albums of all time. This one didn't have like a black inner. Well, the UK one didn't, but we'll get to that one on another video. It's got the old AMI inner. Same Eddie labels as the debut album. Derek Riggs, what an artist. So when I got that, originally, I wore it out. And something that I've got inside this didn't come with it, but there is a wonderful little record shop in the northeast in Stockton called Sounded Out Records. And somebody who they know took some stuff in. I'm going back a few years now, like. And they said, give this to somebody who'll appreciate it. So they give me it. Give. This is... I still can't believe I've got this. This is a signed photograph of the Killers lineup at the time. And you can tell because Steve Harris's signature looks so different. So Steve Harris has signed it there. Clive Burr. The late, great Clive Burr. Paul Di'Anno, who's not in the greatest of health now. Adrian Smith, who looks about 12. And Dave Murray. One of my prized possessions. And I keep it in the Killers album, not only to keep it safe, but also because that's the era that photograph and those autographs sort of were written down. It was like during the Killers era. So yeah, absolutely fantastic album. That's 1981's Killers. So towards the middle to the back end of 1981, it was announced that Paul Di'Anno was leaving the band as vocalist, and I was gutted. I thought they're not going to be the same, not going to be anywhere near as good, because I absolutely loved his vocals. And they were released a 12-inch live EP recorded live in Japan called Maiden Japan. UK version had 4 tracks. Same story. Other versions had 5. So that turned out to be the very last thing that was released by the band with Paul Di'Anno on. And then they announced who the new singer was going to be. And it was Bruce from Samson. But when he got the job, they made him change his name back to Dickinson, because they said it sounds too sort of poncy or whatever they said. And when I found out that Bruce Dickinson had got the job, I was gutted, because I couldn't stand him. I didn't like his voice, and I didn't like Samson. I did have a couple of singles, but I think compared to the other bands that were out then, like Maiden, Saxon, Rainbow, there weren't a patch on them. So I was like, I'm dreading this. So I was all ready to totally jump ship and ditch Maiden altogether. Then Run to the Hills come out with the first single. Absolutely blew me away is an understatement. I just completely played it over and over, and I'd never had a voice like it in all my life. He never sang like that for Samson. And he fit in so well, I was over the moon, because they just improved, which I never ever thought they could, by a million. And then not long after that, the brand new album in 1982 came out, and for me, still to this day, is the greatest album of all time, and it's The Number of the Beast. This, apparently, which we didn't find out till years later, has a printing error on it. All the sky wasn't supposed to have that, like, purpley blue tinge to it. It was supposed to be like a dark grey cloudy, which they rectified from 1997 onwards, when the EMI Centenary edition come out, which unfortunately I don't have. And the new anniversary edition's got it on as well. Like every edition after this has got the corrected artwork, colours. And because I'm used to this, I actually like this one a lot better. I love every song on this. There's not a bad song on it. And then when I heard the song The Number of the Beast, when that came out on single as well, that became my favourite song in 1982. And it still is to this day. I love the back of this as well. I don't know, that colour. I just love that colour. Nice band shot there. It's got the Revelations verse with the Water, Your Earth and Sea on there. Track listing. Oh, there it is. And on the anniversary edition, the one that came out a couple of weeks ago, they totally took Gangland off and replaced it with the B-side of Run to the Hills, which was Totally Clips. This annoys me because I like both, but not only that, on the original pressings, US, Canada, Japan, had both on. Why ours didn't, I don't know. This originally had a merchandise sheet in it, and I don't have it anymore. I'm gutted. So if anybody's got this with a spare merchandise sheet, I'd be very grateful. It does have the inner picture lyric sleeve. So the lyrics are on one side. And then you get a lot of black and white pickies of camera rolls on there for each member. And they changed the labels for this. I love the labels on this, especially the A side. So the A side's got a lovely Eddie Hall in his beautiful glory there. And side 2 has the track listing with another new Eddie under a street light. They also use that streetlight label, that new one, on both Number of the Beast and Run to the Hills singles. There's a couple of import 12 inches of later songs as well, like the Trooper. They used it on there as well for some reason. So that's the original black vinyl one. They then released, same year, this absolutely stunning limited edition picture disc of it. And I love side 2 of the artwork because it's got like a blown up version of the Devil on. Same track listing. And I was watching a video the other day because somebody had unboxed the anniversary one, and people had commented, and I was like, first thing anybody used to do when they used to get any Iron Maiden sleeve, new record, we'd sit there, all Maiden fans, and we'd sit there and we'd just study the artwork. And straight away, your eye spotted, and as in most people did, that Eddie has got the devil there on strings as a puppet, which then in turn, the devil has also got a little Eddie, which shows up even bigger on that side there. And people going, well, all the years I've had that album, I didn't know that Eddie was on the end of the devil's strings. Wow. So that's 1982 picture disc. And I won't bother getting this out because I've already done a separate video to this previous. I'll leave a link for it if you want to go and watch it. But this is the 40th anniversary triple vinyl edition with the corrected colour art. See how it's grey instead of the blue? I personally like the blue, but I mean, it's still an amazing piece of artwork. This was originally going to be, well, Derek Riggs painted it for the single of Purgatory. And when he presented it to the band, like, I think it was Steve Harris, well, all of them really were like, no chance. It's too good. It's too good for a single. We're going to keep that for the next album. And he had to go away and paint something else. So that's the original Purgatory sleeve is what he painted secondly. And if you haven't seen it, everybody will have done. It's where it's like half Eddie's face, half the devil's face, and it's like crumbling. The devil's red's crumbling up to reveal Eddie under it. But yeah, that was originally going to be the Purgatory sleeve. And on this anniversary thing, you also get a double LP of The Beast over Hammersmith, which was the gig that they did. I think it was literally 2 to 3 days before The Number of the Beast actually got released. So if you were at that gig, you actually were hearing the new stuff for the first time. Trifold sleeve. Number of the Beast artwork there, but they've replaced Eddie's axe with the Union Jack. But like I said, I'll leave a link to the video underneath because it's I've had this all out before, so you can have a look. So that's 1982's The Number of the Beast. 1983 saw their 4th album coming out. And when I saw the artwork for this originally, I wasn't happy. It was a baldy Eddie. Some bugger had lobotomized him, so the fact that all that long hair had gone, I was like, doesn't look right. I've grown to appreciate it now. So the first single off it was Flight of Icarus, which was pretty different for them at the time. And the album was Peace of Mind. This is an absolutely fantastic album. Again, I was going to say there's not a bad song on it, but Sun and Steel, I've always found that a bit naff. However, I do like it better now than what I used to. I don't mind it now, when I used to really intensely dislike it. That's the back track listing there. The last song on side 2, To Tame a Land, was originally called Dune. And for some bizarre reason, instead of just calling it that, they asked Frank Herbert if they could use it because it was after his book and / the film. To which he replied something along the words of, I hate heavy metal bands, I hate rock bands, and I specifically or especially hate Iron Maiden. No. So they had to change the name of the song from Dune to Tame a Land. However, in other countries, there was some pressings actually got done with Dune on. And I do have one. I'll be showing that later though, because it's I think it's a Greek or something. It's a foreign copy anyway. When you open this out, this is a gatefold sleeve. You get the full artwork. Again, Derek Riggs. What a dude. And the inside, I've got the band at the table with a dirty, whacking, great big brain. And the two knights at the back. I think it's that one and that one. One of them's Martin Birch, one of them's Derek Riggs. And the lyrics are on that side. So because that you get the picture and the lyrics like that, there was never no inner picture sleeve. It was just a black card sleeve, die cut with the centre hole for the label. So lovely brain on the label. And that's the same on both sides. First album to have Nico McBrain on drums. After they kicked, unfortunately, Clive Burt out. He didn't want to go, but he was having a lot of trouble touring and stuff with drink and things. The story goes that he was actually on stage touring on the Brother Beast tour, mid-set, puking into a bucket. So I was like, nah, he's got to go. And it's a shame, because he always has been my favourite Maiden drummer. With Peace of Mind, I did get the merchandise sheet. The Number of the Beast was the first time that they actually got one in one of their albums, and then they seemed to be in most after that, up until 1990. The prices of some of these, the t-shirt. Peace of Mind t-shirt, £4.25. There is also an absolutely gorgeous picture disc of this. But it's American, not UK. And I do have it, so I'll be showing that in a different video. Like I said, this is all just UK only. So yeah, that was 1983's Peace of Mind. At this point, Maiden were still releasing an album every year and then touring. And this one is quite a lot of people's favourite Maiden album. It's an absolutely fantastic album. It's not my favourite, but it is an absolute cracker. And this is 1984's Power Slave. The artwork on that is stunning. And if you sit and look at it, there's always little bits like etched or things you find. And what I thought was very clever about this is when you turn it round, it's like a view from inside there. And I'm so lucky to have this. Really good mate of mine sold me this for an excellent price. He didn't rip me off at all. And this is fully signed by the band in 1984. He actually got it signed on that tour. There's only 4 on the back. So there's Adrian Smith, Bruce Dickinson, Steve Harris, and Dave Murray. On the inside, lyrics on one side, the photo on the other, but they've all signed there as well. That's Adrian Smith again, Bruce Dickinson again, Nico McBrain, Dave Murray, and in biro there, you can barely see it, Steve Harris. So all 5 of them have signed that one. And the labels on this sound like sort of desert looking with the track listing. And that Egyptian eye thing, which I can never remember what it's called. Again, I did get the merch sheet in this one. So it shows you like the older albums on that one and the stuff for sale on to the side there. This has definitely not got a bad song on it. For me, the standout one is Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, and at this point was their longest song to date. Aces High, I think, is a bit overplayed. 2 Minutes to Midnight, I was never ever keen on that song, but now I absolutely love it. Another one of my favourites on here is the instrumental, Lost for Words, Big Horror. Absolutely love that song. And then you've got Flash of the Blade and the Duelists, Back in the Village and Power Slave. All fantastic songs. Flash of the Blade is in the Dario Argento film, Phenomenon. Also, there's a shorter cut which is called Creepers. So that's in that one anyway. And then later on in the year, again, they released a limited edition picture disc of the album. So that's side 1. And that's side 2. This isn't my original one, but when I originally ordered it, there was a record shop in Middlesbrough called Austin's, long gone now. And when I said, can you order me the Power Slave picture disc? He said, well, I can, he said, but see, it's hard to get now because it had been, I didn't even know about this, but he did say to me, I think I can get it. He said, but there's a fault on it. I said, what do you mean a fault? He said, on the actual song Power Slave on side 2, as it gets to one of the choruses, it speeds up and then slows back down again. I said, well, yeah, I still want it, definitely. So it turned up and I played it. And when it got to that bit, it's like, oh, it speeds up to 45. It must have been knocked during the actual pressing of it in the mixing. And then after it's been going that right, he goes, comes back down to proper speed again. They must all be the same. But yeah, if you've got this and you've never played it, give it a listen. It's the strangest thing. So yeah, that's 1984's Power Slave. The last album on this part of the video was recorded on the Power Slave tour, the World Slavery Tour. They thought it was like, now's the time to do a live album. So they came out in 1985 with this huge double live album, Live After Death. For me, this has got the best live version ever of Running Free. There's just something about it. It's one of the rare occasions where I was never over fond of Clive Burr's drumming on the live version because it was played so fast. It was like a 3.5 minute song was reduced to about 2 minutes. It's really fast when he plays it. But this is where he gets the crowd going. If you've got the Run to the Hills live single, it's that version, but with an extra 4 or 5 minutes where he's getting the crowd going. Similar to the Live After Death video, but it was recorded on different nights. But for me, this is the definitive live version of Running Free. As a live album, personally, I think it's overrated. I think the reason I'm not the biggest fan of it, don't get me wrong, I do like it, but it's not in my top 5 favourite live albums of all time by any artist. It's just not there. I think it's Bruce's voice because he toured that much and you can hear it. I mean, he sings better now than what he did on this. He couldn't reach the notes in Run to the Hills and stuff. And I think another thing that kind of spoils this for me as well is it's not Nico's drumming. It's Nico's drumming on the Clive Burr songs apart from Running Free. I don't like the way he drums the Clive Burr era stuff. He kills the Number of the Beast even to this day for me. I don't like his drumming on it at all, but that's just me. There's the back of the sleeve. So again, like Peace of Mind, when you open it out, you get the full artwork. And then in the centre, the live shot with a humongous Eddie. Boop. I thought I had the merchandise sheet in this, and I don't. So if you've got a Live After Death merchandise sheet as well. The 2 albums have inner picture sleeves with lyrics. I absolutely love the labels on this. It's Eddie's hand coming out the grave, and this was on the backside of the Run to the Hills, Running Free live 12-inch picture disc. I just love that. I think it looks amazing. Side 1, side 2, and then on record 2, that's the pictures on that one, and the lyrics. Same labels again. Side 3, but if you look at that last track, that how big it is, that's Running Free, and where the groove goes dark towards the end, that's always getting the crowd done. So where it goes to there, that first bit on that track 4, that's like sort of the same colour as them. That'll be like the 7-inch version. All that is extra. And then side 4 is recorded at Hammersmith Odeon. Sides 1 to 3 were recorded at Long Beach Arena in California. Then you also got this sort of 12-inch booklet as well. If anybody's watching from the States, especially California, do you recognise yourself on there? If you do, let me know. He's the one who stands out the most to me. There's some on the back as well, but the picture's not quite as clear. But it looks to me from somebody who was on there. And it's got all the tour dates of the entire tour, all the countries there. And also live photos. And if I remember rightly, I think it's got all the gear that they use as well. Yes. This is all their amps, guitars, drums, cymbals, the lot. So that's 1985's Live After Death, Maiden's very first live full-length album and video. So that's the end of the first part of the UK first pressing editions of Iron Maiden's albums on vinyl. There's another 4 to follow. So keep your eyes peeled for them, because I want to try and get them done as quick as possible. So yeah, I'll leave a link below to Trevor's channel, who gave me that flag. Thank you very much. I'll leave a link below to the unboxing of the Number of the Beast anniversary edition that I did a week or 2 back. And I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. I very much appreciate it. And I will see you very soon for part 2 of the Maiden Vinyl UK collection. So I shall see you very soon. Thank you very much, all 2 of you, for watching, and you all take care of yourselves. See you soon.